Hello to all of you. Nice to see all of you again. This is another question about buying Mercedes over the internet. Now, in our previous video, I talked about what you should do when you are getting a car inspected. This is more about when to make the purchase and when to walk away from the purchase. So I hope all of you are listening, and I hope that I provide you with some knowledge that you can take to the bank. You remember a guy named Steve, if you've been paying attention, that I talked about that's been looking for a 280 SL. 280 SLs are great cars. I own one, of course, because they're such great cars. They're super fun, they're super reliable. My sister and I drive hours everywhere, just like we don't even have to think about it. And so Steve wants access to the same kind of fun. We located a car in Kansas that was actually a really super solid car. It had no rust. It had absolutely no accident history. All of its spot welds were present in the front fenders. Every single piece of undercoating that was applied on that car new was still there, none removed. What a great sounding car. And so this car was available to us for a pretty strong price, even though it needed paint and it needed some mechanical work. So Steve wanted to know if he should buy the car or if he should not buy the car. Now, the first thing that we're going to talk about when buying a car is the price. This is a $50,000 car. You're going to pay $50,000 for a rust-free, running, driving, all spot welds 280 SL that needs some work. That's a fair price for it. But the car is going to have some mechanical needs too. Now, very often we focus too much on the mechanical needs of the car. We freak out when we go, oh, it's going to need a rear axle rebuild, it's going to need front suspension work, blah, blah, blah. When you're dealing with a Mercedes that is over 40 years old, the best advice I can give you right now is buy the car for its cosmetic condition. Once you buy the car for a cosmetic, when you buy a car that is cosmetically sound and maybe has some mechanical issues, like it needs a valve job or the rear axle needs to be sealed up, you can actually fix the car and make it a really nice car. And the entire time you're going to have had this virgin, rust-free, accident-free body to work with. That's really great. Now, when you buy a car the other way around, you buy a car that's mechanically perfect, but has some rust issues, which we have done, you want to buy the car cheaply enough to where all of the rust issues can be fixed, and you're going to deal with the associated devaluation because of the previous rust repair. One of my clients refused to run away from a 1970 280 SE sedan that needed rocker panels, and guess what? He bought the car so inexpensively and it was in such phenomenal mechanical condition that we spent the $8,000 to put new rocker panels on it. And that was okay. So these are the scenarios when you should walk away from a Mercedes. 1, when you have found a better example. 2, when you get over the conversation of I'm trying to buy the cheapest car possible. If you're trying to buy the cheapest car, when you're in the conversation of I'm going to buy the cheapest car possible, you really can't afford the car. So you should walk away from any car no matter how good it is. You just can't afford it. 3, you should walk away from a shady seller that's not willing to disclose information. 4, you should walk away from any car that you feel you are not prepared to deal with mechanically. Even if the thing's super nice, if you can't set aside several $1,000s, and you know, in the case of a 280 SL, it's like $20,000 to $30,000 to deal with its needs, then walk away from it. 5, if you are not willing to learn about the car. Now, I've had some buyers that can't spend $20,000 to $30,000, but they are smart guys and they're willing to figure it out. These kinds of people save money on car restoration because they look at something, they figure out how it goes together, and they fix it themselves. Everybody has the potential to be that kind of person. I've even seen some people that were missing limbs that figured it out, and that's badass. So if you're doubting yourself, then hey, if you find a nice car that's really solid and has some mechanical needs, try to learn about it yourself so you can fix it. These are the times when you should stick with the car that you're interested in purchasing. When it's a nice car, when it's solid, when you like it, when you like the way it looks, when it's got all of its history, when it has a beautiful solid body and good interior, but maybe some mechanical problems. If you can't seem to make up your mind, but you have a good gut feeling about it, going with your gut is a really great idea. Magnus Walker, one of the best Porsche collectors in the country, says, I always go with my gut on a car. So if you're, it's really not that complicated to buy a great Mercedes. Just pay attention and know when to walk away and know when to stick with it. And always try to see the car in person. So, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your Mercedes. Like our video, send us your questions, and have a great day.